I want to talk to you about Sylvie's Love. It is an absolutely beautiful film. It's set in the late 50s, early 60s. And it was a time when there was a lot of civil unrest. And a lot of people, when you watch films or you watch TV series, things that were documented at that time around the Black experience tends to be oppression and injustice and equality and all these different things that were lacking and people were fighting for. And those things are incredibly important. And there's definitely hints of those areas within the film. But Eugene Ash, the writer and director, actually told a completely different experience. And I loved it. I found it so refreshing and so necessary. It is all about romance. It is a beautiful love story of sacrifice and how two people fall in love, Sylvie and Robert, and out of love for each other, they let each other go at various times in their lives because they want each other to be able to reach their full potential or not sacrifice anything in the name of love. I mean, come on guys, like that is like the ultimate, like old-fashioned, beautiful love that we all dream of.
Tell me about this new boy at the store. Hey, what's your favorite song on this?
You don't know what love is.
I am not answering that. Is he cute? I didn't really notice that much.
Nnamdi Asomugha, who is absolutely incredible in this, and I have to be honest with you, a fresh name to my world. After I watched Nnamdi in this, I just was like Googling and finding out as much as possible about him and the independent films he's done before. Also, used to be an NFL player, quite an iconic one. So I love the fact that he has reinvented himself as an actor and has all this talent that just shows you all that we can all keep growing and keep like doing different things and transitioning. Side note, he's married to the incredible Kerry Washington. Now that is a power couple. I love that. Can you imagine the conversations in their house? Nnamdi plays Robert. And there is so much music in this film, Sylvie's Love. He plays the saxophone. He's incredibly talented. And you just see this journey, that the dedication that he puts to his art. And Sylvie is working in a record shop owned by her dad. And she spends most of her days blasting like jazz, old school soul, and vibing while she's watching TV. And subconsciously, she's dreaming about having a TV career. But I think that she doesn't even really realize it's a dream. So she doesn't say it out loud till much later in the film, because she sees herself as a Black young woman in America at a time that she didn't have any role models that were doing that. Like I could say growing up I saw Oprah, and Oprah was such a big role model, Trevor Nelson, another person in the UK. But at that time, Sylvie's character had no Oprahs or Trevors, and I guess it was a dream that stayed within herself and she didn't share. Anyway, they cross paths. Robert actually deliberately makes sure that their paths cross by applying for a job that he probably doesn't need in the same record store so they can spend time together, and they do.
Never met a girl who knows as much about music as you do. And television.
Don't get me started. I've seen every episode of everything.
How was it? He's extraordinary.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can I walk you?
The brilliant Tessa Thompson plays Sylvie. Now, you'll know her for the Creed movies, the Marvel movies. She's done some indies as well, but I think this role was so made for her. She's beautiful as Sylvie. Like, when you watch her, you're completely lost. You're just like transported into a different time. She completely owned it. I would love to know the prep she put into playing Sylvie, because it genuinely feels like she took herself to a different space. The music is a connection that I think she has said recently, that when she was reading the script, she was listening to the music that was set in that time, because jazz is a really big part of the film. And jazz isn't boring. That's the other thing that I think Eugene, the director and writer, really gets across in this film, because sometimes jazz can be seen as this really boring thing that old people are into. And I think in this film, in Sylvie's Love, you actually get to see how important it was during that time for young people. It was like go out, dance, party, and just vibes. It wasn't something that you were forced to listen to. And I think that was a really beautiful side plot that I don't know if it was intentional, but it definitely came across. So Sylvie and Robert, their paths meet again 5 years later, and instantly the chemistry is there. There's a beautiful scene when they bump into each other. Oh my God. You know when they say less is more? This is a great example of that. There's a lot of scenes like this that Eugene, as a director and writer, really executes well, where they kind of bump into each other or they talk to each other, and they're not having these big, long, drawn-out conversations, but the words that they are saying, the few things they are sharing, it's so beautifully written. And the way the two actors, Nnamdi and Tessa, deliver it, it's just like lovely to watch. Like, you're literally like, oh, this is like old Hollywood. I love it. I'm just like, I mean, him with the high-waisted trousers, her with the hair and the dresses. It was just like so much to enjoy and celebrate. And it also a big reminder of like, you know, when you really love somebody, you don't want to hold them back. You want them to be their best selves. There's also a lot of gender reversals, which I thought was really nice to see, especially in a time like the late 50s, early 60s, when women were supposed to be mums, stay at home, while the man goes out, has a career, provides. Instead, you know, there's a part of the film that you really see Sylvie be the breadwinner, Sylvie be the person that says, it's all right, I can look after us while you pursue your dreams. And I thought that narrative is something that we don't often see either, and that was nice to see on screen.
WNAT television.
Calling about the assistant producer position.
Are you married?
Yes.
Hey.
Producer's assistant's not the best job for a housewife. Why should I hire you?
Because I didn't know that a Negro woman television producer even existed.
Eugene, the director and writer, has been so very honest about the process of making this film, and it's an independent film, which basically means the budget was much smaller. Most of the actors did it for next to nothing just because they believed in the project. Tessa and Nnamdi believed in it so much that they actually co-produced it. I mean, that just shows you how much they really wanted this film to happen. Also, I learned this after watching the film, so I was just blown away. One of the things that I thought was beautiful about the film was the visuals. New York City, them walking on the streets, and just how everything looked. So when I found out that everything was filmed on the Paramount and Warner Brothers lots, where they have kind of these sort of sets already built, I couldn't believe it. I was just astounded, because for them to just take those spots wherever they could in between bigger films being shot and not getting necessarily all the locations and the budget that other people were getting. Patty Jenkins comes to mind, 200 million to make Wonder Woman over 2 years. They shut down so many different places just to get one little scene. And here's Eugene's team, Eugene, Tessa and Nnamdi, making a film basically on such a budget, but they still completely executed it, because when you're watching it, there's never any point that you think, oh, that looks a bit green screen. Oh, that doesn't look real. So, yeah, that completely impressed me and made me love the film even more.
Robert,
Sylvie?
what are you doing in New York?
Recording an album.
So good to see you.
You too.
So aside from the messages of what love should feel and look like, I think it was really important to see a black leading cast in this way, depicting a time that history tends to focus in film and TV on oppression and just sadness. And of course, the civil unrest of that time in America is really important. And I don't think Eugene, as a director or writer, was trying to ignore that, because there was definitely elements where you felt that that was there underlined and we know it was happening. But it was important to show these two black people in love and feel all the same things that we get to see their white counterparts on the big screen share all the time. You know, love, family, togetherness, adventure, sacrifice. And yeah, I thought that was just wonderful to see. And it was just such an A-class cast. The cast were brilliant. Congratulations to Eugene. Congratulations to Tessa, Nnamdi. The supporting cast were also great. What a nice surprise. Eva Longoria, I did not see that coming. I hear Kerry Washington, who is married to Nnamdi, passed her number on to him, and she asked her, look, he really wants you to be in this film, and she said yes. Great to have connections. And I don't think Eva Longoria has ever had a role like this either. And yes, it was a supporting role, but dancing, singing, and being in this narrative with this cast, I think really made her excel as well. So yeah, congratulations to her for saying yes and doing this film, because it made me look at her very, very differently. And who knew she was that talented? Like, she can really sing and dance. So to end with, guys, Sylvie's Love gets the big Flip Your Wig approval. I absolutely loved it. At the moment, there are a lot of new films that are out, and some of us are kind of bored and fed up and like, give us some recommendations. I need some suggestions. I am telling you right now, with the list of films that are out, just out of 4 that I've watched, this is my order of recommendations. This is how much I love Sylvie's Love. Sylvie's Love is my number 1 recommendation from all the films I've watched recently, and I've watched a lot. That's my first recommendation. My second is Pinocchio, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. By the way, the links are going to be below for more information over at flipyourwig.net. Absolutely just an adventure, dark and completely different perspective, different story around the very famous Pinocchio story. My third suggestion would be Soul. Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, loved it. Definitely left me feeling optimistic and just reflecting and also a little bit sad. My fourth recommendation is Ma Rainey and her Black Bottoms. The reason why, aside from Chadwick Boseman and the great cast, it was again just like an unexpected story that I didn't know about. I didn't know about Ma Rainey. I didn't know what this woman had done for music and as a black woman. But equally, Viola Davis, give her all her flowers right now. She is an absolute incredible lady to watch on screen. The way she transforms herself physically and mentally to play Ma Rainey, epic. Incredible. So that's my third. Is that my third? Yeah, so I said Sylvie's Love. I said Pinocchio. I said Soul. I said Ma Rainey's Black Bottoms. And what was the last one? Yeah, Wonder Woman. And that might surprise you because I know Wonder Woman is the one that's been shouted and screamed about the most. I enjoyed it. I think Gal Gadot is just perfect as Diana Prince. And I think Patty Jenkins is an awesome director. But if I'm completely honest, I did revisit the first one before I sat to watch the second one, and it's a little bit disappointing. Definitely a little bit disappointing. A few things that are a little bit like far-fetched and you're like, what is going on? The opening scene, however, is just incredible and just epic. And there are definitely a few moments like that. So still recommend you lot check it out. So that's me done, guys. Check out Sylvie's Love. Check out all the films I've recommended. For more, hit up flipyourwig.net. Subscribe. And please do let me know what you're watching, if you watch any of my recommendations and what you think. Take care and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
I can't be the woman of your dreams while also trying to be the woman of my own.
I guess I just wanted you to be happy. Even if I couldn't be a part of your life.
Pleasant experiences ahead. Don't pass it by.